See, God's ultimate answer to suffering is not just an explanation, it is the incarnation. Suffering is a personal problem. Therefore, God sent a personal solution in Jesus Christ. God is not some distant and disinterested deity. He, through Jesus Christ, entered into our pain, entered into our suffering. And Psalm 34, verse 18 says this: "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and he saves those who are crushed in spirit." This wise philosopher that I got to sit down with said this to me at a time in my life when I was going through some tough times. He said, Jesus is there in the lowest places of our lives. See, ask me, why do individual events of pain and suffering happen? Friends, honestly, in this world, you may not get a full answer. Now, you might hear that and you say, well, no, wait a second. Hold on. Let's not skim over that. I've gone through some horrific suffering in my life. I've gone through some awful pain in my life. And honestly, I don't think that God, even God, can find any good to emerge from the suffering that I've gone through. Friends, if that's the way you feel today, let me just remind you of one thing. And that is that God is so powerful and so good that he was able to take the worst possible thing that could ever happen in the history of the universe, which is deicide, the death of the Son of the God on a cross. Because no amount of words are going to be sufficient for you. It's always going to sound trite when you're in the middle of suffering. What you need is the very real presence of Jesus Christ in your life. But having said that, and this is equally important, even though we can't understand everything about why we suffer, there are some things that we can know. Even though suffering is not good, God can use it to accomplish good.
Because dreams motivate us, they energize us, they fire us up. You see, a dream, when you get it, will encourage you. There's something about a dream that brings encouragement and joy to people's lives. It gives you excitement. It encourages you. The people who are depressed, the people who are discouraged are the people who don't have a dream. Because when you have a dream, it makes you get up in the morning. It makes you put your clothes on and go to work because you've got a dream, and a dream has the power to encourage you.
Never, ever be talked out of your dreams. Never allow dreams to be lost. Dreams are not just fantasies, passing thoughts. Dreams are seeds that God invested in you before time began. Dreams are God's GPS system, sending you signals of what your purpose in life is.
We've all seen examples in our lives of how the same kind of suffering has a completely different effect on two different people. Some people become angry and bitter and turn inward because of the suffering they've gone through. And yet somebody else can go through the same kind of suffering and they come closer to God and closer to people and more loving and more tender. In other words, someone can lose a child to a drunk driver and turn inward with rage and bitterness for the rest of their life. But someone else has a child lost to a drunk driver, and they go out and they start Mothers Against Drunk Driving. One philosopher said this to me. He said, Lee, I believe all suffering is at least potential good, an opportunity for good. He said, it's up to our free choice to actualize that potential. He said, not all of us benefit from suffering and learn from it.